Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the May Contain Nuts podcast. I am your host, Samuel George. I've got my boy Zach here with me. Say hello to the people, Zach.
Hello, people.
And then today, we're honored with our first guest, hailing from Ohio State, high school football legend Emilio de la Rosa.
Thank you for having me. Truly flattered. Thanks so much.
High school football legend. What position did you play?
I was what they call a Swiss Army knife. Wherever they needed me, I was.
Offense or defense? Or
Offense, defense, special teams.
both? Oh, he was a man of everything. They need you in the NFL. Why are there no? Are there any Swiss Army knives in the NFL?
Not
Taysom
anymore.
Hill.
I suppose, yeah. Actually,
Taysom Hill.
how can we forget Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill, the only Swiss. Yeah, I'd say the only Swiss Army knife. So we've got our own Taysom Hill here. All right, yeah. Today we've got a pretty packed show. A little bit of MLB, a little bit of college football, a lot of NBA, and a lot of NFL. So we're just gonna get right to the MLB. Rest in peace to Cincinnati Reds legend Joe Morgan of Joe Morgan Hondas in Mason. Two-time two-time World Series champion, legend around here in Cincinnati. It's a sad day, among other reasons, to be a Reds fan. But yeah, that's a tough loss. Really, really great player Joe Morgan was. All right, so we've got the Rays and the Astros tonight. They're just about starting. Rays are up 2-0 in the series right now. I would venture to say that series is pretty much locked up. Has anybody really paid attention to that series thus far?
I watched game 1 and 2, actually. I watched both of them. It's pretty evident that if the Astros don't get to the Rays starting pitcher, then they're not going to get to the bullpen, because that bullpen has just been fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the best I've seen in a while. They're solid everywhere. It doesn't look good.
And if we're being honest, nobody wants the Astros to win.
No, but hear me out real quick. A Astros in the World Series, and say the Dodgers win. The Dodgers Astros World Series would not be terrible.
I mean, for the vengeance.
I would not be upset to never see the Astros in the postseason ever again.
I can agree with that. I mean, I guess I could see Astros Dodgers just because the whole revenge story for the Dodgers. Maybe you get a couple Joe Kellys throwing at some heads again. That'd be kind of nice. But I mean, I really have no desire to see the Astros organization in anything remotely related to success. So yeah, I would much rather the Rays pull through here and just a sweep would be nice. A sweep would be very nice.
It would be.
Break out the brooms.
Zach, you want to head and take the next one?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Braves for a minute.
I don't, but I'll let you.
They look good. They looked really good in game 1. Max Fried was just, he was an ace. He pitched like an ace. And then Freddie Freeman, of course, got in. He homered in the game going on right now. What is it? Still 6-0?
It's still 6-0, bottom of the 6th. I'm pretty sure Freddie Freeman has a home run today.
Freddie Freeman did.
He has a home run and an RBI.
Yeah, he had a home run to put the Braves on the board at 2-0, and then it just kind of spiraled out of control for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was 2 runs in the 4th and then 4 runs in the 5th.
Yeah, they're just that's the thing with the Braves lineup, man. If their pitching could just remain solid, like once somebody starts hitting on that lineup, they all hit.
Kershaw got scratched from today too. It wasn't even Kershaw's
back spasms. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm sure it wasn't the fact that he's been just absolutely atrocious in the offseason. Or in the postseason.
Anyway.
Postseason.
Yeah.
That's enough MLB talk for today.
Yeah.
Not
I
really
do
much
have
more
one
to
more
cover.
thing.
One more.
I do have one more thing.
Don't. I told you
Trevor.
before. I told you before the podcast. Do
Trevor.
not bring it up.
I know you're listening to this, and I don't appreciate you not reaching out to us.
Yeah. What the hell, Trevor? That was kind of rude.
But keep an eye on the Braves, man. Keep an eye. You can't beat them, join them.
Trevor, my dinner offer still stands.
Trevor,
I'll second that dinner offer.
Yeah. We'll put our bank accounts together.
Yeah.
We will
Well,
put our bank accounts together to bring you
a chance to win.
Cincinnati.
Hey, what's better though? A chance to win a World Series or dinner with two 20-year-old kids?
Anyway, moving on.
All right. College football. We're gonna start rolling in college football a little bit more every week, starting with this week and the plethora of upsets and just bad college football games. It hasn't looked good for college football recently. A lot of the big teams are just falling for what looks like no reason.
I think it's interesting I always think it's fun to talk about college football this early in the year because, obviously the good teams will take care of business. The teams that are overachieving will win a couple big games, maybe be a little too high in the rankings, a la University of Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't know what the AP poll was thinking. Putting UC at number 8? I'm not complaining, but that is setting the bar way too high for this team.
I mean, when you think about it, though, you've had teams like Florida and Miami get bumped from the top 10 this week.
Yeah,
I've
which
never
maybe makes room,
never really been a big believer in Florida.
I have not either.
But I don't know. I think it's interesting to, like I said, just watch the movement this early in the year because obviously you have your Clemson and you have your Alabama. They're going to take care of business, but
Actually,
LSU they're dropping. This is what their second game in a row. That
Yeah.
They dropped Coach O.
I just want to bounce off your Alabama point real quick, and bring up kind of what I wanted to talk about. Georgia, Alabama this week, and you know what?
Big one.
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Is that number 3 versus number 2?
Number 3 versus number 2.
It's a big one.
Alabama gave up what? I'm checking the final score.
It was a high scoring game. It wasn't it over
144
combined.
48 points to
Like
Ole
48.
Miss.
Yep.
I mean, if they play defense like that against Georgia, with Georgia, who arguably has the best defense in college football,
do they have the most turnovers though and the most takeaways? I don't think so because that's the University of Cincinnati.
Do they play high school teams? I don't think so. We play in the SEC. Hey, Emilio, I think me and you should just take over this. This is Power 5 talk. This is Power 5 talk.
I mean, yeah, I think that this game will determine the hierarchy. Obviously, the who will run the SEC.
Yeah. Although they're not on the same side, so the way the season's going right now, they will depend. I mean, they'll most likely meet in the SEC championship again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And honestly, I'm thinking if they split, depending on how the Big East Big Ten plays out, I'm thinking this might be a two SEC team year again.
So what you got? You got those two. You've got Clemson probably for sure,
and then Ohio State.
And then Cincinnati.
Clemson and Ohio State. Yeah,
I'm thinking Clemson.
Ohio
Ohio State will go undefeated.
Yeah, that's
because I've not seen Penn State play, so I don't know how good they actually are.
I'd say that's almost a lock.
And then I'm thinking those last 2 spots the Big 12 absolutely imploding on themselves.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on Big 12.
I mean, Texas looks overrated once again. Sam Ehlinger with the whole Texas is back, and it's been a downward spiral ever since. But
can I just also really quick point out? I was just looking through all the scores. How did Mississippi State put up 2 points? They literally the score was 24-2. That is the weirdest score I've ever seen.
I mean,
I've never heard of a team only getting a safety.
Yeah,
That's just wild to me.
I only pay attention to the relevant teams in the SEC,
Yeah.
a la
Fair
Georgia and Alabama.
Fair point.
But
Trevor Lawrence, Heisman, front runner for sure.
Early front runner, yeah. Travis Etienne looks really good. Mac Jones, quarterback for Alabama, looks pretty good. Najee Harris put Alabama on his back against Ole Miss, but
I think we have to throw Stetson Bennett into the conversation for Heisman.
What position for Georgia is he?
He's the quarterback. Man's on a mission. Man is on a mission. He's like 5'10", probably a $175 soaking wet, and he's out here beating teams. He's beating bad.
He's gonna get snapped like a twig the way you just described him. But
they call him the mailman. Don't know why, but that's his nickname.
All right.
Well, I mean,
I
just wanna one more point on college football before we move on. So, like Zach mentioned, the two SEC teams that are probably a lock for the playoff, Bama and Georgia, and then Clemson is probably a lock as well. But Big Ten football's coming, and OSU is going to return 24th. Yep, it will be our opening game against Nebraska. We should roll them very easily, and I think Justin Fields will quickly. Again, this is a little biased talking, obviously, but I think Justin Fields will quickly put himself in the Heisman race along with Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I mean, you talk about Ohio State the way Zach talks about Georgia. It is very hard not to be biased talking about college football.
Right.
It is way easier to be more unbiased in professional sports.
The one thing that I'll have to say on that is I've never, or at least I've tried to never be biased on Georgia's defense. They're just, I mean, they gave up.
They are ridiculously good.
They gave up -1 rushing yards to Tennessee this past weekend. -1.
Tennessee's not a bad team.
I mean, they were ranked 14th when we played them.
No, they're not ranked at all.
Well, no, they're 18th now.
Oh, they're 18?
Yeah.
Still worse than UC.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I've just tried not to be as biased as possible. And Emilio, I kind of secretly have to cheer on Ohio State a little bit just because I have some ties there now.
And I always root for Ohio State. The only time I don't root for Ohio State is when they play UC.
You're a UC guy. Don't try to.
Ohio State is my team. That's the team I rooted for when I was a little kid. I just go to UC, so I also root for UC.
Okay, fair enough.
And if UC cracks the top 5, y'all better start throwing some respect my way.
They just will never.
I mean, UNC's in the top 5, or maybe they're number 6. UNC's up there though, and I think UC could probably beat UNC.
Again, it's very, very early. That's why it's exciting to speculate, but we'll have to revisit it, or I guess you guys will revisit it.
Oh, we'll have you back. We could probably have you back on when Ohio State. Yeah, when Ohio State starts kicking into gear.
Yeah, towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
All right, NBA. Zach, this is your boy. Take over.
Emilio, I am sorry for this, but yes, just 4 rings, 4 Finals MVPs, 4 regular season MVPs. LeBron James, the GOAT. He cemented himself as the GOAT.
We should preface this. Emilio is a Heat fan. We need to preface that before we go into this. Okay, continue.
LeBron James, he did it again. I mean, 36 points in the first half they gave up? That's just, you don't get better than that. You don't.
And it's hard to come back from a game like that.
It's just, I mean, they were all over Jimmy Butler. All that I'm sorry, Emilio, again, but just all that talk meant nothing. everybody knew it was Lakers in 6. I think I said Lakers in 6 when we were previewing the finals, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say you did, yeah.
But
Yeah.
congratulations. That one was for Kobe.
Congrats to Rondo.
Rondo?
Second player ever to win in a Lakers and a Celtics uniform. Dwight Howard got his first ring.
That was another. Yeah.
Somehow Danny Green becomes like the 5th player to ever win 3 rings with 3 different teams.
LeBron becomes the first player to win a Finals MVP with 3 different teams.
That is very impressive as well. Emilio, thoughts on how your Heat played and the future of the Miami Heat?
I mean, yeah, it was tough to see. It was a defensive clinic by Los Angeles in the first half of the closeout game. But before I get into everything with the Miami Heat, I gotta give props to the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron, AD. I mean, they were the better team. They won convincingly. So I mean, not really much of an argument there. What I will say is that I was extremely, extremely proud of the resilience shown by my Miami Heat, especially after the game 1 and 2 just drubbing that we took in those first 2 games. I mean, I was after game 2, I was like, man, we're really going to get swept out of these finals. And Jimmy Butler came back with a 40-point triple-double game 3, another 35-point triple-double in game 5, I believe, when they were facing elimination.
Jimmy Butler is a superstar.
It was inspiring resilience shown by Butler and Miami is what I have written down, especially after that dominant game 1 and game 2 performance. And like Sam said, that there's, I mean, I'm very, very what's the word?
Confident next
I'm
year?
excited, yes, and confident about our future, not just for next year. I truly believe that we're not just a one-hit wonder team. We really have, Jimmy is a bona fide top 15 player in the NBA. He proved himself as a leader and a top dog on a top 5 team in the East. I mean, he's the perfect fit for the culture. They talk about the culture that they build in Miami. He fit that perfectly. Bam Adebayo is a top 3 big in the East. In my opinion, top 5 in the NBA. He has perennial All-Star, All-NBA defense potential. Tyler Hero, he's 20 years old.
Tyler Hero is barely older than us.
He's 20 years old, and he had his moments in the NBA Finals, and while I was watching him paying $20,000 to take my classes online. It's sad to think about, but Duncan Robinson, elite shooter. Dragic really showed up in the playoffs. Strong veteran leadership. Hall of Fame head coach and Coach Spo.
Yeah, Spoelstra's a great coach.
He earned his respect, I think, and I mean we're a pretty attractive destination, I think, for the off season. So I'm cautiously excited for our future. I seriously think that we're going to be a contender in the East.
Breaking news! Le'Veon Bell released by the Jets.
I was gonna wait until the NFL.
I just wanted to throw that in there. We'll talk about it when we get to the NFL, but it just broke about 2 minutes ago. Le'Veon Bell released by the Jets.
There it is.
We'll talk about it when we get to the NFL.
We'll have to hit on that.
Bell released.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But let's get back to LeBron. I was watching Get Up this morning, and Mike Greenberg threw up some interesting stats that I got some screenshots of here. So this would be in the LeBron versus MJ debate. LeBron has a considerable amount of more playoff points than Michael Jordan. He's got well over 1,500 more playoff points than Michael Jordan has. LeBron, in playoff games, has led his team in points, rebounds, and assists 70 times. The next closest people are Larry Bird and Tim Duncan with 21. And finally, you've got LeBron. He's 3rd in points all time. He's 8th in assists. and he's 13th in steals. Zach, I know you're a definitive LeBron is the GOAT person. Emilio,
Yeah.
where do you stand on this debate?
You know what? I think I'm one of the very few people that genuinely, and it's not just because I want to say that I'm different or anything. I genuinely go back and forth, and I genuinely think that there is a very strong argument for both. If you were to give me an ultimatum, I have to pick one over the other. In order to save my life or something, I would probably pick LeBron just because I never watched Michael Jordan. But I genuinely think that there's a strong argument for both, and I cannot definitively say one over the other. I think it's one of those great debates that's going to go on for
Forever.
many, many years.
If
After we are dead and gone.
If LeBron matches MJ in championships, does he surpass him at that point? If he goes on and wins 2 more, and that'll be like what, 13 appearances in the finals, and then what was that?
Just bringing or talking about rings. By the time LeBron's career is over, he's going to have surpassed Jordan in almost every category possible. Maybe
Stat wise.
I'm pretty sure he's already passed him in everything that he can.
I think for the most part, yeah.
And I just think that Jordan's career is going to look cleaner because he stayed with one team. He's got the 6-0 finals record, whatever. But just from a basketball standpoint, LeBron James is the better player, and I don't even think it's close.
Yeah.
If we're talking about player,
and I mean, you have to look at the eras they played in. I mean, it is impossible. Just Josh Allen throws an interception. It is impossible to compare these two players. I wish there was a way we could have LeBron James and Michael Jordan play against each other in their primes, but it's just something that could never happen.
I saw something. Sorry to interrupt, but I saw something interesting about eras, and I can't remember who had said it, but I was watching it on TV. And they said that Michael Jordan will be the kind of guy in this era that would come in and he could probably drop 40 points a game. But he's not going to be the guy that comes in and leads your team to a championship.
So he kind of like a James Harden type.
Kind of like a James Harden. I mean, he needed help back then. If you look at it, he got swept.
Zach, I know you just didn't disrespect Michael Jordan by saying that he is today's James Harden.
I didn't mean no disrespect to Michael Jordan, but if we're gonna draw a comparison,
if we were drawing
to a player that does that, I guess it's more of a slant on James Harden. He's a player that can only put up points and will never be able to lead the team to a championship.
Yeah, I mean, before Scottie, the first 5 years before Scottie Pippen was on the Bulls, they didn't have a winning record. And I don't think they made it out of the first round of the playoffs. You want to talk about you want to talk about the 6-0 record in the finals, whatever. Why don't we talk about how LeBron has never lost in a first round of a playoff?
Are all 6 of his rings with Scottie?
Yes,
they are.
Okay. So I mean,
they didn't even have a winning record until they drafted Scottie Pippen.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
people just tend to ignore that because they have this unnecessary hate for LeBron because
it is weird.
There's nothing to hate about him. He's just a great dad, perfect off the court, perfect on the court. They hate greatness, and it's baffling.
Yo, also prayers up for my boy Bronny James. Lord knows what's going on in that household right now. Prayers up to my boy Bronny James. Dad's home. Poor kid.
I think my closing statement on this is that I think we should just appreciate greatness and not get too caught up in we are in the midst of watching one of the greatest athletic careers by any athlete ever, and I think that we're just wasting our breath by trying to compare him to other all-time great athletes, and we should just the day that LeBron James announces his retirement from the NBA, I think will be one of those moments of where were you when it happened type of thing.
Oh yeah,
Because
It'll be-
it will be a monumental day for the NBA when LeBron James
a
decides to
big
step away
shit.
I will.
as a player. Because he's
Not
going
a-
to he's going to stick around in front offices
Be
and
an owner. There's no way he's not going to own a team, right?
maybe even
Oh,
own a team. Correct, yeah. But the day that LeBron James, which honestly at this point, guys, it's not coming any day close. And
No,
I'm gonna
I'd
be
say
I'm
middle
gonna be
to late
honest.
2020
This guy
or
is what?
2020s.
He's 30. Somebody fact
35.
check me on this.
35,
He's
36.
35.
He's gonna turn
He's
36 soon.
he's 35 years old, and I mean, this guy he hasn't missed a step. So I mean, while it's not coming any day soon, it's gonna happen one day, and I think that the people that have wasted so much time and energy comparing his career to other players are just they're going to be sad that they didn't appreciate his greatness more, because I mean, it's going to be a sad day. So
It will. All
Not
right.
exaggerating. Oh,
Let's really quickly do our top 10 NBA teams for next year.
for next year, we're
Just
going
top 10.
10 to 1.
10 to 1. Just we'll go ahead and Zach read off your list, and then I'll read mine, and then Emilio will read his, and then we'll talk.
Okay, so pre-free agency, barring like whatever happens.
Yeah. This is assuming, obviously it won't happen this way. Assuming every player stays where they are right now.
Okay, every player stays where they are right now. Kicking off at 10, I'm gonna go with the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
I think just young core, Kristaps and Luka. I think they're gonna build something good there.
I've got him at 12.
I want to put Philly in the top 10, but I don't know if I can at this point. Like, just the way they ended the season, all like the problems they have, I don't know if I can do it. So I think I'm gonna leave them off. At 9, I'm gonna go with the Pacers. They always seem to be like right in the middle of the East, with like not any superstar really. 8, I'm gonna go with the Thunder. And I really like the way they played. They played as a team. They kind of remind me of the Heat in the way that they just play. Like they pretty much rely on everybody.
The Thunder, yeah. They're very, very, very team oriented. CP3 is a amazing leader of that team.
7, I'm gonna go with the Jazz. I really like Donovan Mitchell. Rudy Gobert is always solid defensively. I just think they just need to get over that hump. Like they always seem to hit a crossroad.
Brick wall.
Yeah.
Brick wall.
it would help if they didn't blow a 3-1 lead.
Yeah,
yeah.
6, I'm gonna go with the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
They've got great young core. They're kind of in the same boat as the Jazz. They need to get over that hump.
Agreed. They've got that one key thing that they're missing to make them a contender.
5, I'm gonna go with the Miami Heat.
Okay.
They impressed me. I'm not gonna lie, they really impressed me. Especially, I think they impressed me more in the series against Milwaukee than they did in the finals. Because I think in Milwaukee was really just like it was team play. I think in the finals they had to lean a lot more on Jimmy, and I don't think Jimmy is there yet, like to have that like ability to be leaned on every single game and win games. Like, because we saw, like Emilio said, with the 40-point triple-double and the 35-point triple-double, like, he's capable of it.
For sure.
Then you look at Game 6, and I don't even know if he scored 20 points.
What do you
12.
have? 12.
12, yeah.
Yeah, you
So
can't be doing
you
that
just-
in game 6.
Yeah, you just like he's just if he can get over his own little hump and play like game 3 and game 5 Jimmy Butler all the time, like they're gonna be dangerous.
For sure.
4, I'm gonna have to go with the Toronto Raptors. Like barring free agency, like where Fred VanVleet goes, if they land any big prospects, but I don't know. I like the Raptors. I like them a
All
lot.
right.
3, I'm gonna go with the Clippers.
I thought you were going to
Um,
leave them off your top 10.
No.
Throw hands.
3, I'm gonna go with the Clippers, just because we'll get regular season Paul George. So like when
Dude, I
when
hope
the
so,
games
man.
don't matter, he'll play well.
When there's no
So-
significance at all to the games.
So they'll have a good regular season, and then they'll just shit down their leg again. 2, I'm gonna go with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
Now, if Giannis leaves, I'm taking the Bucks off my top 10 completely.
That's fair.
And
That,
then
that, that is fair.
number 1, I'm going with the reigning champs, Los Angeles Lakers. I think they're going to get AD his big deal. If they can re-sign some key pieces, I think they need to focus on getting Dwight Howard back. I think I saw he was a free agent.
Yeah, he is.
can
Dwight Howard
get-
is a free agent.
I would not be upset if they got rid of Danny Green.
I don't see a reason they need to keep Danny Green.
Basically, the only thing he was good for this year was defense. I'm not going to knock his defensive performance, and that's really why he was out there, because it sure as hell wasn't for his shooting.
It wasn't for the offensive performance.
And they're gonna be getting Avery Bradley back. They won this championship without him. He's arguably their best defensive guard.
Yeah, and hopefully Quinn Cook has made it back to the team by now. I know he's
Oh
probably
my
still.
god, yeah.
I know he's probably still walking back to
He's
Los
still-
Angeles right now, but hopefully Quinn Cook has made it back to LA by now because he's a tremendous player. Oh, that was so funny.
So yeah,
Emilio was like, Sam, he's like, look at your phone. I just see it. I'm like, what? And he goes, look at Quinn Cook's comments. He goes, hey, yo, make a U-turn. Oh, that
But,
was
Poor guy,
so
Quinn
funny.
Cook. Oh man.
yeah, that's just rounding off my top 10. And do you want me to go into my early contenders, or do you want to save that?
We'll save that for a little bit later. I'm gonna kind of zip through my top 10 real quick. I've got the Jazz at 10. I'm not really gonna give reasons. I'm just gonna go down my teams because I'm not as knowledgeable about the NBA. I've got the Jazz at 10. I've got the Nets at 9. That was a team you left off. That
I honestly completely forgot about the Nets.
the Nets are getting Kevin Durant and Kyrie back.
Yeah.
They have a new head coach. They made the playoffs without Kevin Durant and Kyrie. I don't see a reason why they don't crack the top 10.
I shouldn't have left him off. That just blew by me.
It was just a mind slip. It's okay. It's
Did
okay.
not even think about it.
Why you write it down, Zach?
I'm
Yeah,
taking off-
write it down.
I'm taking off the Pacers, and I'm taking the Pacers out of my top 10, and I'm putting the
Poor
Nets there.
Pacers. I've got the Raptors at 8. I've got the Nuggets at 7. I've got the Celtics at 6. We almost had the same top 6, but I have one key difference. I had the Celtics at 6. I have the Heat at 5. I have the Warriors at 4. I have
I
the
forgot about them
Clippers at
too.
3, the Bucks at 2, and the Lakers at 1. The reason I have the Warriors at 4 is Steph Curry is a monster. Klay Thompson is a monster. Neither of them were healthy all of last year. They have the number 2 pick in the draft this year. There's no way they don't go out and get a big
Obi Toppin.
somebody. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Obi Toppin on that team. Would be phenomenal. That
It'd be ridiculous.
that team would very much contend in that already difficult West again.
I'm saying this right now. I would rather have Obi Toppin as my stretch forward than Draymond Green,
Oh, for sure.
hands down.
Draymond Green is a bum.
Although Steph
Oh.
Curry is
Relax.
Bum.
I'll continue.
No, you go ahead with your top 10, Emilio.
Are you done?
Yeah, I need to gain more NBA knowledge and stuff that into my brain. So right now, this is more just me looking at the teams from last year and where they're going to be at this next year. I think my big one's the Nets right now. I think they're going to be the one team that has, well, I guess the
Yeah.
Nets and the Warriors, the two teams that have like significant improvement from last year. I got the Mavericks at 12, the Rockets at 11, all kind of just right outside.
Well, I kind of thought about. I tried the best I could to not take into account the playoffs because even though that is a huge component, obviously, these are power rankings solely, I think, for seeding and how these teams will perform in the regular season. And at number 10, I have the Houston Rockets. I mean, James Harden is still going to average 29, 30 points a game, even though it's the most boring brand of basketball you could ever watch. Russell Westbrook has lost a step. I mean, I'll be the first to say it. Honestly, he's not his 2016-17 MVP Russell Westbrook self, but he's still a top point guard in the NBA. I mean, rebounds well, defends well, shoots bricks, but he's still a very good point guard in the NBA. I don't think he's top 3 point guard in the NBA anymore. Number 9, I have the Denver Nuggets. I thought Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic were really good in the regular season. They were a very good duo, and obviously Jamal Murray went off in the playoffs. But you know, it'll be interesting to see if he can carry over that success into the regular season. Because I think I think this was his contract year. It's either this year or next year. So he's going to be playing for a lot of money either way, and I think he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Number 8, I have the Toronto Raptors. They don't really have that one bona fide superstar. I mean, Pascal Siakam is good, I suppose. He's nothing special offensively. He's a good defender, good rebounder. You know, obviously it'll all depend on whether they can maintain guys like Serge Ibaka or Fred VanVleet. Number 7, I have the Golden State Warriors. We all forgot. I mean, we all forgot how deadly Steph and Clay are, and I think
Absolutely.
with that number 2 pick, they'll either get a very good big man or they'll trade it away for a third star. I think that they
Do you think
are
that could
they
be
are.
used in a piece to get Giannis?
No,
I mean
no.
it I don't want to speculate. I don't know if it'll be a player like Giannis, but I think that they are set up very well to either draft a very good big man or use it as trade capital. And number 6, I had the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, Kevin Durant and Kyrie, they're gonna show up and they're gonna make us all regret forgetting how deadly those two are. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is the greatest pure scorer that the NBA has ever seen. And I think that he's going to remind us once again how unguardable he is. And you know, what are the odds that all 3 of us had the Miami Heat at number 5? That's where I have my Miami Heat.
I think they're right there. I mean, it's
I think they, you know, it'll we'll see because we can all agree that they overachieved in the postseason as good as they are. So we'll have to see really if they are that good in a hopefully, you know, full regular season. Even though I know it's going to start fairly late, but you know, without the couple month hiatus that we had this year, we'll see if they can sustain that success into the regular season, into next postseason. Number 4, I have the Boston Celtics, the young core of Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker, along with Jaylen Brown, one of the best in the East, and they're just going to continue to get better. They're really young. Number 3, I have the Los Angeles Clippers. Like I think
where we all
Zach
have the
alluded
Clippers
to it.
too.
I think Zach alluded to it. You know, even though it was way off P in the playoffs. I mean, Paul George is still, you know, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Paul George is still a very good basketball player.
He's a very good basketball player who has performed very poorly.
Atrociously in the playoffs. But, you know, he showed that he can play at an MVP level at some point in his career. So, you know, until he's way off P in the regular season, I'm not going to knock on them too hard. Number 2, I have the Los Angeles Lakers, the defending champs. Barring an AD, I mean AD is as good as any big man I think in the league. They'll definitely re-sign him, and they'll be locked and competing for titles for many, many more years. And then at number 1, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, they had the best record in the regular season last year, even though it was cut short. Giannis MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, really good second option in Chris Middleton. Good defense, efficient offense. I mean, they're kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, like until somebody proves that they can best them in the regular season. I mean, you're not really going to knock them off your top spot there. So those are my number 1. Obviously, way too early, and we'll have to see how the offseason shapes out.
A lot of big moves to be made this offseason.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how this looks in a couple months. But
I think free agency starts the beginning of December.
December 1st is the first day of free agency.
Well, we will be all over that week. That probably will be close to the week we have you back to talk all about NBA free agency, college football, all that type of stuff. But let's move on to the final sport of the day, the sport that is going on right now for some reason on a Tuesday night, the NFL.
Are you complaining though?
I'm not complaining. This is beautiful.
Are you complaining? And we don't have it Thursday, so
yeah, that is. Yeah, I guess he sacrificed one for the other. But we got 2 Monday night games next week.
We do.
So yeah,
it should be a regular thing. That they should have 2 Monday night games.
2 Monday night games would be nice.
I
5 o'clock
like
and like a 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock's pushing it, but I could do a 5 and a 9.
But do you take one away from Sunday, or do you take away Thursday night football?
No, I think you need to keep Thursday.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice because right after Monday night football, you're like, oh, okay, I've only got
3 days.
2 nights.
Yeah, 2 nights
until football.
Yeah, I think you got to keep Thursday. You just take a game away from Sunday. Maybe take away a 1 o'clock game because there's already like 8 1 o'clock games.
Yeah, but once you start getting to the buys, like there's not as many.
Fair point. But maybe that's what you do the 2 Monday night games up until people start having buys. The first couple weeks.
Well, I mean, they do the first week already.
Well, yeah, week 1, but they should do it through week 5.
Yeah, I would like to see the NFL try to sustain 2 Monday night, and that would be nice. I would enjoy that.
I would too.
All right. First order of business. Dak Prescott as an absolute gut-wrenching injury. I don't know if either of you saw the actual.
I did.
Injury.
Unfortunately, I did.
I chose not to watch it. I saw images. I chose not to watch the video. I mean,
it's bad.
Oh God,
it was bad.
It was
a compound fracture and a dislocated ankle.
I will be the first to admit I hate the Cowboys. I just hate everything about that organization. But Dak Prescott, I feel for the kid. I mean, fourth round pick.
So tough to see somebody go down like that.
Having a historical start to his season
in a contract year,
and honestly, I just think he was screwed over by Jerry Jones, and I think he needs to get paid. I think he needs, as soon as he's back and healthy. I think
they should force Jerry Jones to just give him Mahomes money. He's not worth Mahomes money, but that should be Jerry Jones' punishment for being this stupid. Is that he has to give him Mahomes money.
Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far.
What are we not for punishing Jerry Jones?
I am for punishing.
I hate Jerry Jones, but I mean he's one of the most powerful men in sports. Like it.
Yeah,
he's not really good.
You're not touching him.
I mean, yeah, I'm going off of what Zach said. I mean, my dad's a Cowboys fan. I don't really have any ill feelings towards the Cowboys, but you know, it's tough to see a promising young up and coming superstar like Dak Prescott to go down with such a tough injury. And, you know, Jerry Jones, I have it written down here. Jerry Jones is a con man. He should have paid Dak what he deserved long time ago. You know,
What does
and
he
this is
deserve,
why you
Emilio?
hear
What does he deserve?
he doesn't deserve Mahomes money. Like, let's not.
Well,
He
no.
he deserves to be paid in like the top 6
Matt
or
Stafford
7.
money?
He deserves more than Matt
More
Stafford.
than
I
Stafford?
would, but you know, this is why you hear those ESPN analysts like Stephen A. Smith and all those guys. You know, you hear about these guys locking out and stuff, and they want their money because they want their financial security. You know, in case something like this happens, because now Dak is really in a position where, you know, he's got his money for this year, but
Yeah, it's tough. We glossed. We didn't even mention this in the NBA, so we'll talk about the NBA's counterpart to this when we talk about the NFL. The NFL has been piss poor at managing COVID. We didn't even mention how amazing the NBA did
yeah.
with their bubble
Can
situation.
can we backtrack to that?
Yeah. We'll just tie it in with the comparing the NBA and what they've done to how poorly the NFL's been controlling this.
I will give the NFL a little bit of leeway, only because you can't, like, there's no place in the United States that you can have a bubble and be able to play all the games that you have scheduled for that week.
Cornfield,
Like the
middle of
NBA,
Nebraska.
NBA, it was a little bit easier, but how many fields are you going to make? Like you got to have, like, the NBA was easier because they had a facility already, like, basically not pre-made for this, but
It was like perfectly made. Like,
it
yeah,
was
Yeah.
it was basically like it was almost made for this moment. You've got all the hotels that are less than 10 minutes away from the facility, which I've actually had the pleasure of playing at, not basketball but baseball, and it's a just jaw-dropping facility. It's phenomenal.
But yeah,
But you just, I mean, there's
yeah.
nothing you can do.
It's a tough situation, but my whole thing is, you know, the NFL knew that they were going to have an outbreak at some point. Like, it's just, you know, we can talk about how the NBA, you know, pretty much had this thing wrapped in a it was placed on a silver platter for them, the
Yeah.
whole, like, but I mean, at the same time, it takes a lot of minds and negotiating with the players association and with the head guys of the NBA to make it happen. And, you know, to go, what was it, 73 or something like that, 73 days with zero positive.
172 games.
I'm so sorry, 172 games.
Games. Yeah, 172 games.
172
Games were
games,
played.
zero positive cases.
It's impressive. It was really impressive.
I mean, yeah, you got to tip your hat to the NBA, the NBA Players Association. CP3, I know, was very instrumental on the player side in getting that to happen, and obviously, you know, Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, putting it all together. You know, on the NFL side, I understand that they're in a tougher situation, but at the same time, you know, everything that happened with COVID happened over the NFL's off season. You know, you had so much time to figure out what you were going to do,
so much time.
what was, you know, what was the best course of action in case something like what happened with the Tennessee Titans a couple weeks ago were to happen. And, you know, it's like what a lot of people are starting to figure out now is that, you know, with the whole rescheduling, like, now you can do it because it's earlier in the season, but say you're in week 16, 17, where certain teams are really, like, they're playing for, I mean, playoff spots, seeding, all that type of stuff. And I mean, God forbid one of their key players comes down with the virus, or something happens, and and they're unable to reschedule, and they have to forfeit the game, because that's what we saw what was going to possibly happen to the Titans. You know, it would put the NFL in a situation where they, you know, would have to consider things like I was seeing Adam Schefter say. You know, it was going to be playoff seeding based on win percentage. So teams that played less games but had technically had a higher winning percentage would get in over a team that maybe lost one more game or one less game but
Yeah,
had a
played all their games.
lower winning percentage. Yeah, I mean, it would put the NFL in a tough situation, and there's really nobody to blame but the NFL for doing that. Because
Yeah,
even though they can't do a bubble, I mean, you had so much time to try to figure it out. And
they could so easily, and I was listening to Pardon My Take earlier this week, they could so easily push the Super Bowl to the end of February and add an extra week or two to put games in if they really need to. Like that doesn't seem like it's a horrible option at this point. That way you're not just destroying the schedule you've already had. Because there were 7 different schedule changes. I'm not gonna go through and list all of them, but like 6 or 7 different schedule changes made this week. For like week 11. Like I know the Dolphins games like I don't even know how they got flexed, but like
we were supposed to play the Broncos this upcoming week.
okay.
But for some reason we moved, so now we played the Jets this week, and then our bye is the following week, and our week 11 is when we're going to play the Broncos, I believe.
Is that when you were supposed to have your bye?
That's when we were supposed to have our bye.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely ways around this. I think Roger Goodell's really got to do some soul searching right now, find his NFLPA player that really wants to step up and try to maybe make some changes and find a better way to do it other than just switching up the schedule and screwing everybody over. And I mean that's obviously a little bit coming from a biased side of the Steelers going from having literally the best bye week, week 8, right in the middle of the season, to getting a week 4 bye and having to play 13 straight. That's just putting teams in a bad position. And obviously, the Steelers are an organization that can overcome something like that, and that's
okay.
I mean, we're going to throw in a little bit of bias here, but they're an organization that can overcome something like that. They have the talent to do something like that. But if you were to put the New York Jets in a position where they had to play 13 straight games,
well, the Jets are irrelevant at this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, they should.
Like, it's not even a fair comparison. I mean, I will give you credit, Sam. The Steelers are definitely an organization that can win 4 games against teams with a combined 2 wins. I'm proud of them for that.
Yeah,
like, great job, good job.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Moving on. Dan Quinn, Zach, he finally got fired.
Thank God.
He finally got fired.
I just want to say I would be winning in my fantasy league this week if I would have played Justin Herbert instead of Matt Ryan. Dan Quinn just ruined Matt Ryan for me these last 2 weeks, and I'm pissed.
Who's their interim?
I have no idea. I didn't even see if it was announced. But
Raheem Morris,
their
interim head coach.
Good luck. Literally, you've been gifted all of the talent in the world. Don't screw this up.
Hopefully, Julio. Todd Gurley looks good though.
Todd Gurley looks pretty good.
He looks good. If Julio can come back healthy. But yeah, thank God, Dan Quinn. I don't want to spend too much time on that because we've still got a lot to cover. But
we still have a lot to cover.
Thank God he's gone.
Next
what
up,
I will. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about Dan Quinn, and I have been on the fortunate side of being on the beneficiary of one of the all-time collapses. But what I will say is that DQ looks like. I mean, he seemed like a good guy. Like he was a player's coach, cared about his players and stuff like that. But when you start 0-5 and you have all that talent on the team, I mean, heads got to roll. I mean, some's got to be done, and frankly, I think it was overdue. But hopefully, he lands in a good situation soon. But yeah, it was time to go.
No ill will towards him, but it's just
time to move on.
It was time to go.
It was getting into a cycle of mediocrity, and that's what kills franchises.
Yep.
All right, next, Zach, you and I have been on the train of we've kind of been dissing Drew Brees a little bit over the last couple weeks. And Emilio and I were talking last night. We need to slow down on the Drew Brees slander for a little bit. Give him some time.
Do we though?
I think so.
I think so.
As from a I mean, I guess it depends on what you're.
Slow down on it. Definitely be cautious about it, but slow down on it.
I guess it's just what standpoint you're looking at, because like statistically, he's fallen off. But he even said it. I think I heard him saying something about it last night. Like he doesn't care about the stats. Like he's gonna take what defenses give him, and if it's a 5-yard check down to Kamara who ends up running it for 25 yards after the catch, like he'll take that all day long. So from that standpoint, yes. But he's starting to make those mistakes that you see when players get older.
Yeah.
And that's where, like you said, I think we still need to be cautious.
But hold the slander.
We can hold back on it.
He's certainly not 2017 Drew Brees anymore, but I think, at this point in his career, he doesn't have to be. He's got one of the best offensive units in the league, and I still think that they're very well set up to compete for that top division spot.
The whole division is 3-2, other than
the lowly Atlanta Falcons. But I will say that even though this is my first time on the podcast, I have also kind of been little bit on the Drew Brees slander train, but I'll hold back for now because he's played well and they've beaten good teams. So
all right. Next we're gonna hit this one a little quickly too. Joe Burrow versus Justin Herbert. Is there an argument now?
I'm taking Justin Herbert.
You're taking Herbert now. Now, is it because of the weapons that Herbert has compared to Joe Burrow?
No,
and the offensive line, or do you think them put on an equal team, they both have the same amount of weapons? You're taking Herbert over Burrow.
I think I'm taking Justin Herbert. He seems a little bit more calm. He just seems like I mean, he threw 4 touchdown passes, which is the most by any rookie on a Monday night game. Mm-hmm. I think he's just a little bit better. I think he's just a little bit better equipped for the NFL at this moment. Now, 5 years down the line, I don't know, but he was the guy at Oregon for pretty much his entire career. Joe Burrow was the guy for a year.
Fair. He definitely knows about consistency.
I think he's still got some room to grow.
Emilio?
I genuinely think that Herbert has been the beneficiary of an elite offensive unit. You have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry. You're going to put up big numbers. I will say that, both teams have found their guy. I think if you're LA, you roll with Herbert for the rest of the season, whether Tyrod Taylor comes back at any point or not.
I think they said that.
Obviously, Burrow, I think he's doing the best with what he can. As somebody from Cincinnati, I've never been a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but it's always so frustrating to see the Cincinnati Bengals just be so perennially bad. But there have been sparks of hope. But I think that at this point, Herbert is going to have the better rookie year just because he's better equipped around him. But I certainly think that we're going to see a lot of both of them for many years to come.
Yeah. Yep. I think right now I'm edging a little more towards Herbert, but I'm very cautious because I know Joe Burrow, because if you give him an offensive line or maybe just throw some trash cans in front of him, I think he's got a lot better of a shot of being a lot more, because exactly like you were saying, Herbert looks calmer. It's because he doesn't have 8 guys barreling down him.
Right, he's not staring death in the face every snap.
That's why Justin Herbert looks so calm. It's because he's not about to die every time he says "hut" and gets the ball in his hands.
That is fair, but again, like when you're talking about like who is better, I don't think we should put them on like equal teams. I think we should go with their situation. Right now. And right now,
which is Herbert fair, Herbert has a much better situation,
and he's making the most of it.
He definitely is. And this is kind of leading into the next thing. I have the Chargers as one of my teams. That's a good team. That's just bad right now.
Yeah.
one of the teams that their record definitely does not reflect how they've been playing. They've been in a lot of close games with a lot of good teams, and they've just been
Okay.
falling short. I
Yeah,
have
that is fair.
teams
I
I have
do.
in that same kind of like situation be like the Texans and the Vikings.
I have all three same teams as you for
Yep.
that category.
I do as well. I think that with the Chargers, they've fallen short a couple of those close games. I think a couple of close games that they've fallen short in. I think if Herbert is a starting quarterback, they win a couple of them. I don't know. At one point, he took the helm of the Chargers, but I know that Tyrod Taylor was. He started what, like 2 games, I think.
He started
Something like
against the Bengals, and then I want to say that was it. I want to say he started against the Bengals, and then he got his lung punctured. I'm not kidding. I genuinely think, yeah, he started against the Bengals, and then Herbert is 0-4, but he's lost by 3 points to the Chiefs, by 5 points to the Panthers, by 7 to the Buccaneers, and by 3 to the Saints.
I mean, he's played Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees.
He's got the Jaguars this week, so
Yeah,
So
I
hopefully
think it's looking up for the Chargers, but I
Jaguars.
think that it's weird that I had the Texans as well in the good bad teams. Bill O'Brien, another one of those good riddance
Yeah,
type
Yeah.
of.
Romeo
My
Crennel
goodness,
coming in, taking over. Romeo Crennel's like 4-1 as an interim head coach. He's like
I mean
interim head coach god.
he's just. It's also
the
the oldest head coach in the NFL now. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
wow,
he's like 78. Yeah, he's up there in age.
I
But
don't think he's that old. I think he's like I want to say he's 72, but he could be older. But he's up. He's definitely up there.
I have never seen a head coach. I've never seen one man. I don't even want to say head coach. I've never seen one man just leave a trail of destruction like Bill O'Brien left with the Houston Texans.
yeah, it'll be tough to pick up the pieces for sure.
The funny thing with that is too is like his record with the team like doesn't really show it. I mean, like they started off 0-4 this year, but like his like overall record with the Texans, I think is I want to say it's a winning record.
I think it is, and they've made the playoffs many times, but every single time, I think, especially after those first couple playoff runs with Deshaun Watson, everybody was like, they expected Houston to compete in the AFC, and every single year they seem to make it as like a wild card or like a 4 seed or something, and he traded away Hopkins, who has just been absolutely balling in Arizona, and personally, I think was going to waste Deshaun Watson's prime if he stayed any longer.
Yeah.
So,
And then
You got
leading into the, I was going to just say leading into the Vikings.
Oh.
Just we can touch on them just real quick. It really for them all depends on how Kirk Cousins plays, because he's one of those quarterbacks that if he can manage the game and make the throws that he needs to throw or like needs to make, like with their rushing attack, Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson stepping up and pretty much taking over Stephon Diggs' spot, they're right there. It just really depends on Kirk Cousins for me.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook really has just been throwing that team on his back recently. Their defense is not good. Their defense is very bad, but I think their offense definitely has a lot of weapons and a lot of places to improve as well. But they're a team that definitely, I mean, they put up a really good fight against Seahawks. A team that's offense is one of the, if not the best in the league right now, and they've been held pretty substantially the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Vikings definitely look a lot better than their record shows. And the Bills just fumbled the ball on the kickoff. They're losing 35-16 right now.
oh goodness,
The Titans just scored and they fumbled the ball on the kickoff. That's pathetic.
Christ.
Leading, we could just quickly gloss over this so we can get to our rankings and picks for the week. My 2 good bad teams are the Bears and the Panthers.
The Panthers.
I'm
I
not a
have them.
believer.
I have them as well.
I had
I'm
the
not-
Bears and the Colts.
I'm
I have
not a
the Bears.
believer.
I have the Bears, the Colts, and the Panthers. But continue, Zach.
I'm not a big believer in the Panthers yet.
Mike Davis is a dog.
I guess we'll see when McCaffrey comes back.
Mike Davis has been great for
He's
them.
been great, yes, but like
I mean, he's not Christian McCaffrey, but he's
Who have they played? Genuinely. Who have
I
they
need
played?
them to beat a good team.
Right. That's exactly the point I have. I need them to beat an upper echelon team.
They beat the Cardinals.
That was a
Cardinals are
freak
sporadic. They're sporadic.
They play
Yeah.
the Bears this week, then they play the Saints, then they play the Falcons, then they play the Chiefs.
The Bears, for me, they're just besides their defense, I don't really see any upside with their offense, and I just don't see them sustaining this pace of a record.
That's kind of my thought on the Bears as well.
I have that for the Bears as well as for the Colts. Even though it's funny that they both played each other. I think who came out on top
It was 2 weeks ago.
the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears
No,
won.
Colts.
Well, the Colts.
Colts.
Yeah, they won by
Colts won.
3.
The Colts beat the Bears. I'm not really. I don't really understand why the Colts decided to sign Phillip Rivers.
People are saying they should go for Matt Ryan.
I don't think that Phillip Rivers is obviously he's getting up there in age. I don't think that he makes them a Super Bowl contender.
He's the best. I think he was the best that they could have done.
Could have gotten Cam.
They could have, yes, but Cam was a wild card, and we can talk about him a little bit when I give my Patriots rankings.
Okay.
But and Emilio, you being a Patriots fan, you can give your thoughts on Cam.
Yeah, I have a little segment on the Patriots that I was planning on doing.
Yeah, we can.
We can move to. Do you have anything more on the Colts?
Nah,
not really. Just they're
very average.
And you alluded to it. I don't know if it was when we were talking about the NBA or the NFL, but it's universal. Yeah, being mediocre is the worst position you can be as a sports team. I mean, you're either tanking for the future or you are competing for titles. And I mean, being in that mid tier is just the worst
awful.
possible that you could be doing.
It's tough.
Just a quick shout out to the Dolphins, because as of right now they have done it right, and it's, as a fan, I am very, very excited for their future.
Are you guys 3-2?
We're 2-3, but we've been in every single game.
Okay.
And it's made me proud to be a fan. But going into the rankings.
Well, here, let Emilio say a piece on the Patriots real quick before we get into the rankings.
I was just gonna have him talk about it when he gave where he had the Patriots.
Okay. All right, yeah, that works. That works
for me.
But I think we should all just go down our lists where we have them cut off, and then really spend some time on our top 10s. And if there's anything that stands out to anybody, we can talk about it for a minute.
Okay.
If need be. But if you guys don't mind, I'll start off with 32 to 26.
Sounds good.
32 I have the Jets, 31 I have the Giants, pretty self-explanatory. 30 the Falcons. Those are the 3 remaining unbeaten or winless teams. My bad.
Are those your bottom 3, Emilio?
I am in agreement with the 2 New York teams. I don't have Atlanta at 30, but they're very low. But I don't have them at 30.
Okay.
29 I have the Jaguars. 28 I have the football team. 27 I have the Lions, and 26 I have the Bengals.
Okay. Zach and I were getting pretty identical. I have the Jets at 32, the Giants at 31, the Falcons at 30, the Jags at 29, the Broncos at 28, the football team at 27, and the Lions at 26.
Okay, so we're pretty. Can
I
ask where you have the Bengals?
25.
Okay, because that's where I have the Broncos. So
we're basically
And then Emilio.
32, I have the New York Jets. 31, New York Giants. Obviously, like you guys said, interchangeable. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 30, I have the Washington football team.
Okay.
That's fair.
29, the Denver Broncos. 28, Atlanta Falcons. 27, Detroit Lions. 26, Cincinnati Bengals.
Where do you have the
Okay.
Jaguars at?
So
25.
they're
Okay.
they're all pretty.
I was just
pretty
gonna say the
interchangeable
Bengals
up
beat the
there.
Jaguars, so that's why I had them
They're
ahead of them.
They're all. I mean, it's all.
They're
pretty
all bad. They're
interchangeable,
all bad. They're all bad.
Yeah. Going from 25, I have the Broncos, like I said. 24, I have the Vikings. 23, I have the Chargers. 22, I have Houston. 21, I've got the Eagles. 20, I've got the 49ers. 19, I have the Cowboys. And 18, I have the Panthers.
Okay. 25, I've got the Bengals. 24, I have the Texans. 23, I have the 49ers. 22, I have the Eagles. 21, I have the Vikings. 20, I have the Chargers. 19, I have the Dolphins. 18, I have the Cowboys. Anything stand out?
No, not really.
Did you have the
I mean,
Niners in that group, Zach?
I did.
Okay, yeah.
I did as well.
Okay. All right.
25, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. 24, I have the San Francisco 49ers. 23, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. 22, I have the Miami Dolphins. 21, I have the Minnesota Vikings. 20, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. 19, Chicago Bears. And 18, I have the Carolina Panthers.
So why do you have the Bears so low?
Just
I
you
get it.
know,
They're not great, not terrible, but they did just beat the Buccaneers.
they beat the Buccaneers, but I mean, the Buccaneers were down Chris Godwin, OJ Howard. Wasn't Tom Brady's best game. I mean, it's just I think Zach alluded to it. I don't think that they have a very sustainable like plan of success, especially on offense. I really don't see them. I don't see Nick Foles being the guy that can carry them to 11, 12 wins. I could see them very easily finishing 9-7. But I genuinely don't think that they're going to. I don't think they scare anybody. Is
No.
what I
They
think.
do not.
No,
They
they
do
definitely
not.
don't. All right, Zach, 17 through 11.
17, I've got the Dolphins. 16, I've got the Patriots. 15, I've got the Bears. 14, I've got the Buccaneers. 13, I have the Colts. 12, I've got the Saints. And 11, I have the Raiders.
Okay, you
I
have
don't
the
know.
Patriots at
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. Yeah, that was a subtle shot there at my
You have the
at
Patriots
my
at
Patriots.
what?
At 16,
I don't know about that one, Chief. I think the
It's
Patriots
where
are a very
it's-
good team.
it's where I see them at the moment.
Reason?
I need to see Cam throw the ball. I need to know that he can win a game not with his legs.
Okay.
I mean, they were one play short against the very good Seattle Seahawks, and Cam Newton put up 300 plus yards in the
Yeah.
or through the air.
Yes, but I credit that loss to who's your offensive coordinator? Is it McDaniels?
McDaniels.
Yes.
I credit that loss to McDaniels not trusting Cam to throw the ball on that down because everybody and their grandmother knew that Cam was running that ball.
I agree. But I think
including all 11 guys on the Seahawks defense.
that was their best play for that
Situation.
situation.
And that's why I have them so low, because in order to win close games like that, they're not going to be able to rely on Cam to run the ball every time, because teams are going to stack the box, and if they know he's going to run, at least 7 out of the 10 times they're stopping him.
Yeah.
If it's more than a yard. So that's why I had them there.
All right. I'll go ahead and move on with mine.
Yeah.
Panthers at 17. Raiders at 16. Colts at 15. Bucks at 14. Bears at 13. Cardinals at 12, Saints at 11.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, nothing really too crazy, I don't think.
No. Can't disagree. I mean, I don't have the Saints that low, but I mean,
Zach, where'd you have the Saints?
12. 12.
12. Okay. So you've got
I
them
have them
higher
at
than both of us.
I have them in my top 10. But okay,
Okay.
so 17 through 11, I have the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
These are kind of like your middle to fringe top 10.
Yeah.
So Indy Colts, I have the Las Vegas Raiders at 16, 15 I have the Houston Texans, 14 I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 13 Dallas Cowboys, 12 Arizona Cardinals, and then 11, shout out to you, Zach, Cleveland Browns.
Wow. Okay.
So I guess what my only one would be
Is the
the
Texans?
Texans. Yeah. Why at 15?
They're very high.
That was Zach. You had them at what?
God,
I have
22.
I have the Texans at 24. You have
I genuinely think that the firing of Bill O'Brien is really it's going to bring new light to Houston, and I think that they're going to play for Romeo Crennel, and I think that they're going to. It's almost like you got that what are the expression they call it? Like the monkey off your back, you know? You like
Yep.
you got that, the thing that was weighing you down, and I think that, I mean, Deshaun Watson's still, I think, a
Great quarterback.
top 10
Yeah.
quarterback in the league, and I mean, while they lost DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, I genuinely think that they could maybe go on a little bit of a run.
I can see
Possibly.
that. I need to actually see it before I
Yeah.
start ranking them higher.
100%.
Personally.
Quick note. Josh Allen has been pulled from the game. They're completely giving up. It's 42-16.
Christ's sake.
All right, moving into the top 10.
And I have adjusted my top 10 based on this game, by the way.
I think they're going to have to.
I have as well.
I
think they're gonna
just
have to.
adjusted my top 10 based on this game significantly due to how badly they just got blown out.
Um,
And it was a bad. I've been watching. It has been a bad performance by the Bills all around.
Do you want me to just list all 10?
Yeah, go ahead. Top 10.
Okay. So 10 I have the Cardinals.
Okay.
9 I have the Rams.
Okay, same.
8 I've got the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
7 I've got the Ravens.
Okay.
6 I've got the Steelers.
Mhm.
5 I've got the Bills. 4 I have the Titans. 3 I have the Packers. 2 I have the Chiefs, and my number 1 team is the Seattle Seahawks.
That's fair. I have no quarrels with your top 10. I think. Where'd you have the Browns?
8.
Okay. I think you're gonna be a little shocked. I have the Browns ranked higher than you.
Do you really?
I've got the Patriots at 10.
Okay.
I have the Rams at 9.
Okay.
I have the Bills at 8 because of how
So you
I
moved them down.
I have. I had the Bills at 4, but the Bills have looked so god awful this game. Josh Allen didn't play very well. I think they'll pick it up eventually, but their defense completely fell apart. I have the Browns at 7,
Okay.
the Steelers at 6, the Ravens at 5, the Titans at 4, the Chiefs at 3, the Seahawks at 2, and the Packers at 1.
Okay.
I think solely because of how close that Minnesota game was. I think if I were to put Seattle and the Packers head to head, I think the Packers win that game by just shredding their defense. So that's why I have the Packers at number 1.
That's fine. That's fair. And then Emilio.
So my newly readjusted top 10, I have the New Orleans Saints at 10. I have the New England Patriots at number 9.
Mhm.
Taking a tumble, the Buffalo Bills fell in my top 5. They're at number 8. Number 7, I have the Los Angeles Rams. 6, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cracking my top 5 just now, Tennessee Titans. Number 4, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. 2, Green Bay Packers. and still number one for me, the Kansas City Chiefs.
So why are the Ravens ahead of the Seahawks?
Better defense, and I think that they can still. I mean, I think genuinely, I think that the game against the Chiefs for the Ravens was an outlier as far as their offensive performance.
Okay.
You know, obviously, the Chiefs are going to put
Um,
up points against anybody, but I think that the Ravens are capable still of pacing with an offense like the Seattle Seahawks, and I think that the Ravens have a better defense
Okay.
than the Seahawks.
Understandable.
That's where I disagree with you, because Lamar Jackson has not looked great even against poor teams.
That is true.
He has
Even against the
he has
Bengals
not-
this week, he didn't play well.
he hasn't had a great game since week 1.
That's fair.
Like he hasn't had a.
He's
he
not
hasn't
looked like the
had
MVP.
He hasn't had an MVP Lamar.
He certainly hasn't, but I don't think that that means that he's not capable of it.
Oh, I'm not saying he's not capable of it, but until I see it again against like a team that is good, I'm not going to. That's why I have them so low.
Which they don't get this week because they play the Eagles.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think we should move into the picks for this week.
We can go ahead and do so. So we will start. I'll go down each game for this week.
And before the last segment of our of the episode, I would still also like to give a quick points about the New England Patriots, but we can do the Patriots.
Well, when we get to the Patriots game, we'll let you talk about the Patriots real quick.
Yeah.
When we get to their game this week, and this is week 6, correct?
Correct.
Week 6. So starting off, no Thursday night this week. The Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans.
I think this is pretty clear, especially after the performance that the Titans just put up. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like people think it's going to be, but I'm taking the Titans.
I have the Titans as well. Emilio?
This was one of my upsets. I think, that it's. I guess I'm gonna benefit from being able to watch the game. I am gonna keep my final score because, like Zach said, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. But I'm gonna take the Titans over the Texans, 27-24.
Okay, so very close. I've got the Titans winning that game. I would say probably in a close one, but yeah. So you said you have the Titans or the Texans, Emilio?
I have the Titans.
Titans, okay.
Yeah.
Next up, the Colts or the Bengals at the Colts.
On their defense is still one of the top defenses in the league, and they're just going to abuse that Bengals offensive line. So I think the Colts. I'm taking the Colts.
I've got the Colts as well.
Taking the Colts as well, 27-20.
Moving on to the Falcons at the Vikings.
This is a tough one.
No Dan Quinn.
No Dan Quinn. I'm gonna take the Falcons with this one. I think they get their first win.
First win for the Falcons, Emilio.
I'm in agreement. I think similar to what I said about the Houston Texans earlier. Dan Quinn, monkey off the back. I think the Falcons get their first win over the Vikings, 27-24. I think I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to say that it's a game-winning field goal.
Oh.
I think it's going to be a buzzer beater.
I don't. I think the Vikings blow out. I think they're Dalvin Cook just runs all over the Atlanta Falcons defense. The Atlanta Falcons defense is atrocious.
They're also very heavily injury stricken.
Yeah,
they are.
But I mean, that doesn't take away from the fact that they're still bad right now.
Yep.
And Justin Jefferson is only getting better. Adam Thielen is a weapon. And Dalvin Cook is a top 3 running back in the league right now.
Fair.
So I've got the Vikings. Emilio, this is all you. Patriots, Broncos.
I have this is, again, first time on the podcast. I pride myself in being a down-to-earth Patriots fan. That being said, I don't think this game is going to be particularly close. I think the
Nope.
Patriots are going to roll the Broncos,
Yep.
regardless of who plays quarterback. There are reports that are saying that Cam is very likely to play. I think that we could throw some football pads on Sam George and throw him out there against
Yes,
the
sir.
Denver Broncos, and we would still get the dub.
I'd be the type of player that Bill Belichick would go after anyway. So
I think it's more of what the Broncos are missing than what the Patriots have. Even though I mean the Patriots,
give your little piece on the Patriots.
All right, my little piece on the Patriots. I mean, tough off season. Obviously, lost Brady, and it's been a tough season so far. Even though we've won some good games and lost some close ones. I think that this game is going to be relatively a blowout, just because young quarterbacks that play Bill Belichick for the first time usually don't fare very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have here Drew Lock will see ghosts like Sam
Like
Darnold
Sam
did last
Darnold.
year. I mean, regardless of who plays, I think it's going to be Drew Lock, though. I'm curious to see the Steph Gilmore development. He came down with COVID.
He had COVID, right? Yeah.
He had COVID. Just being nitpicky again. Edelman needs to be more involved in the passing game. After that explosion that he had against the Seattle Seahawks, he hasn't really been involved. But at the same time, we need to continue to feed N'Keal Harry. Keep doing the running back by committee. Damian Harris looked really, really good against the Kansas City Chiefs. He was Damian Harris was a lone bright spot, I think, in our offensive performance against Kansas City. Yeah, when we played Kansas City, he was our.
Oh yeah, you did put Kansas City dominated
it. Defense continued to be opportunistic, create turnovers, bend don't break. Something that obviously nobody except somebody like me who has closely watched the Patriots would say. Chase Winovich has looked, I think, really solid in his second year. He's gone after the quarterback, got some strip sacks, forced fumbles. He needs to keep improving in the run defense, but I think that he's a solid piece. I've been pleasantly surprised by him. And just to wrap it up, I think overall we're in a good spot. Even with everything going on, I think we can certainly compete for a playoff spot. And honestly, even after tonight, I think we can compete for the top spot in the division. I mean, the Bills are still a very good team, but I mean, I wasn't really that scared of them to begin with. And after seeing this drubbing that the Tennessee Titans just put on them, they're very beatable.
When do y'all play the Bills?
I think fairly soon. I think we're going to get.
I
think we're going to get into our division.
You play the Bills and the Jets back to back.
Yep, and I just think we have to, continue to beat the teams that we have to beat, like Denver, and but these moral victories that we had against a Seattle and stuff like that. I mean, those have to turn out into wins. Yeah. So, but that's it on my Patriots piece, and they're gonna have them over the Broncos 28-10. I think it's gonna be a fairly.
Yeah, I can see them putting up 30.
I have the Patriots as well.
Patriots for Zach. Patriots for me. All right, moving to the absolute worst game I've ever seen in my life. The New York football team versus the Washington football team. Which football team am I talking about? New York, though. Does it really matter at this point?
No, I'm going to assume, well, it's obviously the Giants because the Dolphins played the Jets. God, if Alex Smith starts, I'm taking the football team.
I have the football team regardless. I think the football team's defense is better. Chase Young is a monster. I think he's going to get in Danny Jones' head.
I think more people would rather watch a bowling match than to watch this football game.
100%.
This is disgusting. This is sad.
This is a Thursday night game in the making. They should just move this to Thursday.
This is sad that this should be broadcasted on a Wednesday night when nobody knows that there's a football game even going on.
No, Wednesday at like 1:00.
This is sad that this even that there has to be money spent by broadcasting companies on this game. Regardless, I have the Washington football team.
Yep.
winning this game 10-7. I think it's going to be just the worst. Just
Tie?
I mean,
Tie?
You
can't.
do
I
that.
mean, this game is just gross. I would be surprised if more than 2 people watch it on TV and in person.
I'll have it on Red Zone, but that'll be it.
Um,
It'll get less than a minute of airtime on Red Zone.
Fair.
All right. We've all got football team.
Yep.
Next up, the Baltimore Ravens at the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't really even think we need to talk about this one. I'm going with the Ravens.
I got Ravens as well.
I'm going to take the Ravens. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. But I will say that, Carson Wentz, you didn't play horrible last week. But
did not.
Terrible. Travis Fulgham or whatever is
Fulgham,
looking all right.
Yeah, who the hell is that? But
He's looking all right.
I got the Ravens 31-17 in this one.
Ravens by a lot. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears at the Carolina Panthers. This is a very mediocre game that could prove that a team might be worth talking about. Teams you both had in your good teams that are bad, yeah.
I think I'm taking the Panthers on this one.
I have the Panthers as well. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than either of the 2 quarterbacks in Chicago. I think Mike Davis is proving to be a force to be reckoned with. And overall, I think the Panthers are going to outscore the Bears.
I wasn't expecting to lone wolf this one, but I'm going to take the Bears over the Panthers. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 20-17 battle of the mediocre teams, but I think that Nick Foles will make that one play that Nick Foles seems to make per game that'll put the Bears in position to kick a game-winning field goal, or maybe the Chicago defense could stop. I don't know, but I think this will be a sneaky good game.
Another just awful game. We have the Detroit Lions at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Some garbage games this week.
I think Matt Stafford goes off on their Jaguars defense, so I'm gonna take the Lions.
Yeah, Kenny Galladay is an amazing receiver. I've got the Lions probably by a lot, but who knows, because they're both pretty bad.
I don't have the Lions winning by a lot. I do have them winning, though, and I think it's going to be on the arm of Matt Stafford. I think it's going to make some good plays.
This next game we really don't have to talk about. It's the Jets at the Dolphins.
Dolphins by 50.
So Zach took the Jets.
Dolphins by 50. If they play the way that they played against San Francisco, like I understand.
In front of a full stadium this week.
A full stadium?
Miami got the permission to have a full stadium.
That doesn't mean that the Dolphins organization is going to. I think I read somewhere. I think I read somewhere that they're going to continue to keep it at a low capacity, but
even though they have the permission to.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Dolphins by 50.
Yeah, I got Dolphins. Not by 50.
I got Dolphins by 2 scores. I don't think I mean, I think it was Zach that said it, that the Niners were a walking hospital. Yeah. The Dolphins played as if they were playing a walking hospital. I mean, they beat them like they should have, and
100%.
I mean, the Jets are bad. Oh my God. So
they're very bad.
So I have the Dolphins by 2 scores. I think it'll be.
Also, won't be surprised if Le'Veon Bell ends up with the Patriots this week. Like from league minimum.
If there's one position that Bill Belichick does not need, it's running back.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I think he's coming home.
He's not.
Dude. I hope he comes home.
He won't.
He won't, but I love it. Next game, a very good game. Probably the 2 greatest quarterbacks in the last 15 years. The Packers versus the Buccaneers.
Oh.
That'll be a good one. That'll be a very good one.
Brady versus Rodgers.
That'll be a very good game.
Be a good one.
You don't think it'll be a good one?
I think the Packers win pretty easily.
I think the Packers win, but I don't think easily.
I think they pick apart that Buccaneers defense.
Maybe.
It'll be a high scoring game. I have 58 combined points.
Yeah,
Oh.
I could definitely see this game going way over. Way over. Emilio, are you taking your dog?
Tom, if you're listening to this, man, you know I love you. But I'm taking Rodgers and the Packers in this one, mainly because of what Zach said. Tampa Bay's defense is just not there yet, and Rodgers in year what is I don't even know. He's playing out of his mind.
He's ridiculous.
I mean,
Like he said, his down years are some career years for some
right?
players.
It's
And
again, this has also been the topic of who's been the best quarterback of this generation. I personally think it's Brady, but at the same time, appreciate greatness, and I think that this will be one of the last times that we see these two go head to head.
it
So
might be. Sunday night game. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the 49ers. Why the 49ers have 2 Sunday night games in the last 3 weeks, both at home when they're so injured? Obviously, it was probably because they made the Super Bowl last year, but they need to start flexing some of these games because this is not going to be a good game. I've got the Rams by a lot.
I do think the Rams will win as well.
usually, I think that division games are low scoring and close. I think the Rams win this one by 17. I have them 31-14. The Niners are. I mean,
Just
they've
not-
been hit with the injury bug. Jimmy Garoppolo looked like a Pop Warner quarterback out there last week. And the Rams are surprisingly, and I would say pleasantly surprisingly,
Looking
back
good.
to their high scoring ways, and I think
Looking
that they
very good.
I think they roll the Niners this week.
All right. 2 Monday night games. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. And before tonight, I would have thought this would be a good game. But Patrick Mahomes lost last week, and I don't think he loses this week. I've got the Chiefs. It'll probably be a tighter game than it should be, but I think the Chiefs come out of this one definitely with a victory. Mr. Laura?
I agree with that statement as well. Sorry, I'm a little preoccupied because it is currently 8-7 Braves in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs and a run out there for the Dodgers.
Oh goodness!
They're going full
Dodgers.
Atlanta right now.
Let's go Dodgers. All right, but you've got the Chiefs?
I do.
Emilio?
I had the Chiefs as well. I had the Chiefs before this game. I had them in a close game. I still think it'll be a close game. But I'm fairly certain, like you said, Mahomes doesn't lose 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. You give up 42. What was it? 42 points.
Yeah.
To the Tennessee Titans. I mean,
Your defense didn't look great.
but I got the Chiefs in this one, 20-17.
And the Monday night game, the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. I think Arizona picks apart that Dallas defense quite a bit. I think DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray have a spectacular weekend. I've got the Cardinals. I mean, I don't really think there's much to say about this team, this Dallas team.
I have the Cardinals as well.
I have the Cardinals as well, but I think it'll be close. I have the Cardinals over the Cowboys 21-20. I think, like you said, Kyler and Hopkins feast on this defense, but I think everybody dogged on the Cowboys for signing Andy Dalton to such a large deal for a backup quarterback. But I mean, I don't know if they'll be too hindered.
No, I don't know if they will. So
Are we there yet?
Moving on.
Now we're here.
We have arrived.
We left out this one game on purpose. Probably what should be the Sunday night game. I think this is the best game of the week. I think no matter what happens, I think it'll be a very tight game. I think it'll be a very good game. The Steelers and the Browns.
This game surprisingly carries pretty heavy significance.
A lot of weight in a division with 3 teams with 4 wins. If the Browns win, it shows that the Browns are legit and they really are somebody that needs to be taken seriously. If the Steelers win, it just further cements that they are who people think they are. Zach, your team is the away team. You have the floor.
Okay. Well, we saw what happened last year when the Browns traveled to Pittsburgh. I believe they came out with the W.
No, you're absolutely wrong. When they
Am I wrong?
When they
Did
went
they- I
into
thought they won.
Pittsburgh, they
I
lost.
thought they won in Pittsburgh.
No, they lost in
sure?
Pittsburgh.
You
They
positive?
lost in Pittsburgh. See, fact check yourself.
I thought
Fact
this was
check it,
I thought this was an uninterrupted segment.
Zach.
It is.
It is, but when you get
It
your
is.
facts wrong,
It
But
is
I-
an uninterrupted segment, Sam.
That's
I'm
something
just
for the
going back.
moderator to correct.
I'm going back and looking at this real quick.
Can I have my 30
Yeah.
seconds back?
I will. I
The
will.
Steelers
I
at
will.
Cleveland.
I will fact check. Sam. Zach has the floor.
Can I have my 30 seconds back
You may.
that he took from me? Okay, thank you. I don't know. This Browns team is it's different. I think it's different than other years. I know they've beaten some pretty not good teams, but they've also had a couple good wins. Like the Colts last week, I see that as a really good win. And I think even without Nick Chubb, I think the way that they have been running their offense, the way Kevin Stefanski has been calling plays, I think they find a way to expose that Steelers secondary that is disappointingly mediocre for how good their front seven is. And I think that's what's going to be the difference. Because there's nothing special about the Steelers offense. James Conner, I'm sorry, is just not a good running back. I think the Browns shut him down pretty easily, and I think it'll be about their secondary containing Juju mostly, because I think that Chase Claypool 4-touchdown game is not something that we're going to see a lot of. And so as long as Baker plays well, like error-free football, as long as he manages the game like I've said before, like he needs to, I think the Browns come away with this one. That's all I have on that.
All right.
Okay, and just to did my job as fact checker. Sam was correct. The home game for the Steelers came out on top.
Which was after Malgarrett's suspension, by the way.
Correct. All right. Opening argument for Mr. George. You have 2 minutes uninterrupted. Begin.
All right. So first off, I'll wait to address anything that you said about our offense. What I would like to say is the Browns are a very good running team. They have probably one of the best rushing attacks in the league. Nick Chubb being out definitely hurts them significantly. The Steelers have stopped the run so well this year. 6 yards to Saquon Barkley. Last week, they gave up one big play to Miles Sanders. He had one 73 or 74-yard touchdown run. And then the rest of the game, they held him to 6 yards. The Steelers held Melvin Gordon to 70 rushing yards. And I want to say David Johnson to like 60. The Steelers have been phenomenal at stopping the only thing that has been keeping the Browns in any of these games. The Browns, the only way I could see the Browns even remotely coming close is if Baker torches our secondary, which looks bad right now, but is still filled with some of the best talents in the league. Minka Fitzpatrick last year had some of the most outrageous turnovers in the league. Joe Hayden is playing fantastic. He's been playing really well. He's the one guy in the secondary that has been playing very well. Steven Nelson needs some work, but has been doing very well.
20 seconds.
Hilton is the one that I'm concerned about. Edmonds is Edmonds. I don't like Edmonds, but he's been playing fine. I don't know the Browns offensive line. If the Browns offensive line cannot hold the best front seven in the league, the Browns will not be able to score in this game. They have to be able to hold, or Baker Mayfield's going to be on the ground 50 times this game.
All right, wrap it up.
I guess talking about our offense, I think can I now respond to what Zach said about my team and how we have no talent on offense?
No,
which is
you can't.
just a bold-faced lie.
Are you done with your?
You had your 2 minutes, Zach. Your counter argument.
I'm just gonna get right into this. I don't.
You have 2 minutes.
Oh, we have another. Is this another uninterrupted segment? Or are we going at it? So I would like to go at it.
Sam?
Bring it on, you motherfucker.
All right.
What do you got to say?
Open.
What do you got to say? Hello?
I think you guys cut out on me a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You there?
Is this uninterrupted, or can we?
No, we are going at it.
Go for it. Go for it.
What did you want to say about your offense, Sam?
Okay. So you said Chase Claypool is the 4 touchdowns a game is not something to worry about. I agree. 4 touchdowns a game is ridiculous for any NFL player, regardless. 4 touchdowns a game for a rookie is fantastic. Saying that you can just ignore Chase Claypool and you said you are not worried about Chase Claypool. You said it's not something to be worried about.
I said a 4 touchdown game is not.
Well, yeah, no, duh. You wouldn't expect a 4 touchdown game from Julio Jones.
So then why are you making stuff up?
I'm not making stuff up. You're saying Chase Claypool is not somebody to be worried about.
I said he's not somebody to be worried about for a 4 touchdown game. I didn't say they have to ignore him.
Okay, then explain how the Steelers' offense wouldn't be good then. If the only thing you're worried about is one single guy putting up 4 touchdowns against you, please explain to me how our offense is lacking, and that just blows my mind.
Does it?
Yes, it does. Ben Roethlisberger was 13 for 13 on 3rd downs with 100 and something yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. Didn't miss a single 3rd down conversion the whole game. That is ridiculous.
That would be impressive. That would be impressive if it wasn't against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Dog, this argument that you have that, the Steelers, they're only good because they've been playing bad teams. Yeah, they're supposed to beat the bad teams. What? Okay. You expect us to not beat the bad teams when they're in our way? That's what we have to do. We have to get through the bad teams.
Pretending like you have just this elite offensive squad.
We don't have an elite offensive squad, but our passing game is not as bad as you think it is. And the Steelers are the most slept on undefeated team right now, by far.
When you have a running back who has put up 268 yards in 4 games, you're going to be slept on a little bit.
We've had so many people. It's been more of a committee than it has been just one running back. It has not just been Connor this year. Game 1, Snell had 113 yards. Game 2, Connor had 106. Game 3, Connor had 109. Game 4, we didn't really do as much rushing, but we had a lot more passing in Game 4. We've been playing extremely well offensively. Ben has 1 interception on the season, which is unheard of. Ben has usually thrown 5 interceptions, 6 interceptions by now. Ben has been sacked, I think, 6 times the whole season. He's been playing extremely well. You are not taking into account. You're just completely disregarding our offense at this point. You're just thinking that, all the Browns have to do is like just throw the ball, and if they can score, they'll win the game. Like we're not going to come back and score immediately. The Browns, I don't think the Browns defense is very good. They give up 500 passing yards to Dak Prescott. Now, granted, Dak Prescott is better than Big Ben, but I still think, like in the grand scheme of things, giving up 500 passing yards to a quarterback is something that Steelers will be watching that game footage all week to see where you were exposed and then expose the exact same players throughout the whole game. Because
I think you just have to look at the situation of the game. I guarantee the Cowboys did not run the ball more than 5 times in the second half.
Well, I guess.
I mean, when you throw the ball 58 times, it's very likely that you're going to get close to, if not 500 yards, and complete 41 of them. So, I mean, throwing the ball 58 times is kind of unheard of in today's game, at least.
Yeah.
But,
Joe Burrow threw it like 60 times against the Browns.
Yeah, but they're trying to kill him at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, you even let Joe Burrow throw 60 times. That's the thing. Your defense is so susceptible. Both of our defenses are very susceptible to the pass right now. And I think we have a better chance to beat your secondary than you do against ours because of our front seven going against your O-line versus yours against ours. You've got Myles Garrett. Who else do you have on defense that could very much disrupt
Olivier slept on. He doesn't get all the sacks, but he gets a lot of pressures. I think he had I want to say he had 8 against the Cowboys, who's a pretty decent offensive line. Like he's another guy who's on the edge that's he's almost forgotten about because you have Myles Garrett to worry about. And then we have Sheldon Richardson in the middle. I think you're underestimating the Browns defense. I think that's what the Steelers are going to do too. And
I don't think so.
I think it's going to cost them.
I don't think they're going to underestimate my defense. Myles Garrett is a great player. As much as I hate Myles Garrett is a great player. I don't think the Steelers are just going to overlook their defense. I think it is that we are going to game plan very well for this team, and I think we are going to expose your secondary, and we are going to torch your O-line and get to Baker the entire game. Baker can run, right? He can run.
Yeah.
I don't think his legs are going to be able to save him this game. I don't think he's going to be pressed. The Steelers are so good at getting pressure on the quarterback. I think Myles Garrett has a good game. I think TJ Watt has a good game. I think the Steelers come out on top in a close one, but probably by either a touchdown or 10.
I lost you again.
I think the Steelers come out of this one by a touchdown or 10 points. And the Steelers win this one by 10.
I don't know. I think the way that the Browns offensive line has been playing is promising against this front seven. Baker's been sacked 7 times, so 1 more than Big Ben. I don't know. I think the Browns are going to come out. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game.
I think this is the best game of the week.
But I'm sticking with America's team, the Cleveland Browns.
Cap! Emilio.
Team, the Cleveland Browns.
Emilio, chime in.
I think your conversation revolved heavily around the defensive stats. I'm looking at the football database. Okay, I'm just gonna say stats, and again, you have to take into account that the Pittsburgh Steelers have only played 4 games, versus most of these teams have played 5 games. But right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have the number 3 ranked overall defense, giving up 301.5 yards per game in total, 21.8 points per game, 64 rush yards per game, 237.5 pass yards per game. The Cleveland Browns come in at, 32, 31. 30, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. 21st ranked overall defense. 29.8 points per game. 87 rush yards a game. 296 passing yards per game. 383.4 total yards per game. So that's just stats. That's not me. You can say that that's
What
biased.
were the
or not.
Browns ranked again?
21st overall. Pacers are number 3.
You wanna just throw in like the turnovers? So
The
I'm pretty sure they're
Browns.
number 1 in the league in that.
Browns are, I think, in the top 3 as far as turnovers. What I will say is this, and Zach, I'm sorry. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. I think it's going to be close, like you guys said. I think it's going to be 20-14 Pittsburgh. From what I've seen, the Cleveland Browns, they rely very heavily on their running game. The good games that Baker has had this season, it has come off of a lot of play action, getting out of the pocket. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, two-headed monster. The Browns are very good, but I do think that the Pittsburgh Steelers present something in which they will take your running game away, a la the 64 rush yards allowed per game. And I don't think that Baker Mayfield is the type of quarterback to drop back 35 to 40 times and beat you through the air. I just don't think that he's there yet. Odell and Jarvis Landry have been playing very well. Both defenses have their flaws, obviously, but I just think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will take away the running game, which is so heavily relied on for the Browns, and I think that it's going to make it really hard for the Cleveland Browns to be able to move the ball down the field. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't have anything super that stands out about them on offense, but I do think that they will make enough plays to win this game. I just, I'm not necessarily. I don't really have any ill will against any team. I think it's funny when the Pittsburgh Steelers underachieve just because my good friend Sam is such a passionate fan of them, and it's sometimes it's funny to me to see him so down when they underachieve. But I genuinely don't have any bias towards either team, I suppose. I'm just going off of what I've seen based off the facts, and I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will emerge victorious from this week, and I think that they will eventually.
Let's just say next
division.
week's podcast, regardless of the result of this game, is going to be a can't miss because one of us will be completely dunking on the other.
Let's just hope nobody on the Steelers makes any comments that requires.
No. We're not going there. We're sticking on the field, Mr. Zach Lorai. No, it's not.
Strictly football related.
Zach, is he on the field anymore? No, don't talk about him.
I specifically saying that it was.
It is sad. It is sad that your only defense against your team is that. It's so sad.
Let's keep it strictly football related. Okay,
strictly football related.
In between the lines,
Odell has about 100-yard plus game against whatever bum is guarding him.
I think Odell is going to love this game this week because he's going to get shit on. I think he is going to absolutely love this game. Yeah. It is going to be probably his favorite game of the season because the amount of doo-doo that is going to be caca all over him. And I think that's where we're going to end it for today.
That's it for that section of the debate.
I think that's where we end the podcast for today. A little bit longer one today. Emilio, thank you for coming on.
Thank you,
for having me out,
Emilio.
guys. Appreciate it.
We'll have you back once the Big Ten is in full swing. NBA off season really kicks into gear. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it,
Thanks for having me.
everybody. Thank you for listening. Hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend. Enjoy football this weekend. Midterms are coming up. Stay classy with the midterms. Don't fail your midterms. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Go Patriots.
Zach, see it. Go Patriots. Go Steelers. Go
Trevor Bauer
Browns.
to the Braves.
Go Dolphins. Go everybody. Hope everybody's teams win.
Trevor Bauer to the Braves.
All right. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Go Steelers.